Good evening. We're the team number. I don't know the number, but we are Javier Alejandro, your host. With me is Diego Lemus and Aldo Jimenez. We're going to be discussing these six questions. And the first one is, why is this course important for the future of your career? Well, in my case, this I plan to study 3D animation, and in Mexico there's not there aren't a lot of studios for this career. So I need to I need to place my my faith in a foreign country. So I think that I will make this well make this deal with a lot of abroad cultures. So I think this class was like an introduction for not being awkward in my job.
Well, I think that it's also important for my career. I'm starting as my partner here, animation, but it's also about graphic design, and I like both. So with animation, he said it. Basically, it's that. In Mexico, there's not that much of like effort on helping the animators here in Mexico, so they have to go have hopes that a foreign country will accept them. But about graphic design, I think that it will help a lot because if you just want your country, it's okay, it's understandable, and there's quite a lot of market to go inside. But if you understand the global culture, like of the most as you can learn about, you have more people that you can work with and you can make more things you can understand in a better way. Some things you can do things that if you didn't knew global culture you couldn't, and you could do like for a Russian person or another kind of person, and it helps a lot. It will help me be a better graphic designer, as to do better jobs and to have more customers.
My opinion, I think this course helped me to understand that in order to keep growing, I have to learn something to avoid a problem with another culture, and it's important because it helps to be open-minded.
All right, then the second question is interculturality. Can we see it in this country? Yes, no, explain. Well, in my opinion, the most we advance in this in the years, we we can see like a lot of foreign people arriving to Mexico. They are renting or working in our country. We can see an example in Mexico City. There's a lot of Americans, a lot of Europeans that are starting to live in this magical country. I don't know. We're going to be well. I don't know what you think, Bill.
I agree. And indeed, we are basically the result of interculturality because Mexican culture will technically have part of like the Spain culture because when they got here, they gave us part of their culture. Like, for example, our religion is their religion, the religion that they brought to us, and we had to accept it, and now it's like the default religion instead of the one that or the ones that should have been our default religions. That's just for the example of what we are the result of. And in nowadays, Mexico is an intercultural country for all that matters. Like we have Japanese people, we have USA people, Colombian, like Russian, every single kind of person you can find anywhere. Like maybe more in some places than in other, but we are a country that has lots of people from different countries, different cultures, and they share their cultures with us, and we share ours with them, and that's like part of what Mexico is like, accepting other people, other cultures, and sharing our own. So yeah, there is a lot of intercultural here.
Um, Mexico presents a reality of interculturality in which remarkable ethnic and cultural diversity can be appreciated. There are advances and efforts to recognize and value this diversity. I think there are also challenges that must be overcome to promote a more equality and fair interculturality in Mexican society.
Right now, with the third question is how does ethnicity play in action when we speak of equality? Uh, well, sincerely, I don't know much this topic. Maybe I don't know. I really don't place a lot of let me say like a weight into this topic, so I'm out of it. I don't know, Diego. What is your opinion?
I think that the ethnicity, it's like the the cultural background you come from. Like you could maybe be from the same country as other person, but your ethnicity is different. Like with the people that like speaks other languages that were like from before us, and like I think that does play a part in equality, because people with smaller ethnicity, like they are a small group, they tend to have less opportunities. So it is relation with equality, but as why some people don't get equality as they should.
So
Like,
we're talking about like kind of racism.
yeah, that's at least how I interpret it, like how I see it. It's like it plays a part in that. That's like all I could say. Like, yeah. What about you, Aldo?
For me, it's important to recognize that equality does not mean uh, treating all people in the same way, but rather recognize and addressing historical and structures inequalities uh, that may affect different ethnical groups and group disproportionality.
All right. Well, now that you mention it, for these groups, like Diego said, well, I think yeah, ethnicity plays a matter into equality because oh, come on, how many times we didn't see or we saw the I don't know that they negated to a service or maybe some to do something just because the way he is or where he's from or she's from. So well, yeah, I think that now that ethnicity plays a major role in this topic of equality. All right. Well, in the fourth, into the fourth question, stereotypes in America. And well, I do think to know that a lot of stereotypes. The most simple one is I'm from Mexico. Come on, we know that we're Mexican are lazy or we're known to be lazy for being lazy. Like drunk. I don't know. Maybe we are walking all day with our sombreros, or we're, I don't know, with board in our hands. Maybe, I don't know, Diego, do you know any any more stereotypes?
Well, yeah. In America, simply like as you mentioned, for example, the US Asians, they have all those like default like mindsets of us, like, oh yeah, they go around with a mariachi costume all day and have all like mustaches and all of that, and that is like totally wrong when you see it. Like, we do have that as part of our culture, but it's not what we are, right? And for example, in Mexico, we have the pigeons, like the pigeon idea with who they were, Chile people or Peru people, Peruans.
I think the it's the Peruvians.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like the Peru people, we have that that thought that they eat pigeons, or the Brazilians
with the monkeys.
with the monkeys. I mean, they do, but like we have it like, oh yeah, they all eat it, like it's like a like their pozole every day, you know. And like we have all those like those toros other countries, and some of them are not bad, but I mean they don't hurt anyone. They can even make like a bridge between cultures to laugh of something, but some other times they are like hurtful to how we relate, like with the ones of USA. Like some of them can have those that we mentioned, but some others can have like, oh, it's Mexican, he must be a thief, or he must be evil, or mean, or rude, or different negative thoughts that they have of us just for being Mexican. And most of the times they are just wrong, because we are normally like chill about everything, you know. And that can like be a problem. Like if you are Mexican in USA, it's like if you were like in a middle point between being black and like being like white, and they can point you out as the one who made a like something illegal just because you were there and you were Mexican, and that can be like really, really, really bad. And that's what I can say. Like, yeah, maybe I said too much. What do you think, Aldo?
Uh, just to say my opinion, it's important to keep in mind that stereotypes do not reflect the full reality of the people, of the cultures to which they belong, because each person is inequal, and accurate generalization about an entire group cannot be made based on stereotypes. And this is only my opinion.
Well, just to add it, I do think the stereotypes, there's a reason for them to exist. I don't say that every stereotype is right. I think that there's some truth in it, and maybe we need a more context for know why these stereotypes is, and I think the stereotypes are like a self defense method when we don't know about something. We make these assumptions. We need this. We make these explanations to don't have fear. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, that would be the end of question number 4. Now we will be passing to number 5: impact of social acceptance in the work of place, or in the workplace. Um, well, I think that. social acceptance needs to be like a major part role in the workplace. Maybe well, just because now in this with this globalization, uh, a lot of cultures clash into the workplace. So we need to accept them because just from the basic point of view, if we don't accept our group, our comrades, our mates, well, the workflow would be worst. Would be a lot of step on the road. So I think we need to accept them as we would like to accept them to us. What do you say there?
I think you're quite right about that. It leads to a better workplace, a better communication. If there's no acceptance, there will be normally problems. There will be like discussions. It will not be a good environment for work. It will be uncomfortable. It would just be not good, like just not good at all. Like it will bring so many problems because social acceptance is was what it is all based on. I mean, there are other things, of course, but that can lead to not being tolerant with someone, like being rude, and that could also lead to just quitting your job, and that doesn't help you and doesn't help the enterprise you work for, because they're just not getting enough personal to like get the work done. So I think it's essential, in a few words. Like without it, there's not a lot to work on.
All right.
Um, social acceptances in the workplace. Um, there are many things, but I want to say is a good thing. Uh, this has a positive impact on productivity and emotional because for for both employers and organizations and contribute organizations to be a greater and more successful work environment because if you have a positive environment, your people work with good attitude, and this is my opinion.
Right. We're moving to the sixth uh, question. The role of a leader in a cross-cultural company. How and what must of a leader do for a success leadership? Well, I think that leadership reflects in the way the leader treats his or she or her subordinates. As a leader, needs to take the most hits. When the leader needs to um, defend the how do you say, like the workforce. I don't know, like they are the people who are below him or she, uh, him or her. Sorry. Maybe I don't know. Advocate for the voices of uh, the people who are not who are struggling with this cross cultural environment. Trying to make like some exercise or talk with the workmates to be more open minded about these situations, to be uh, more thoughtful. I don't know, what do you expect to a leader in a cross cultural company?
I think the first thing that should be in that the leader should do is set some ground rules, because if there's many cultures, there's like, for example, the Mexican culture, we tend to like either do a lot of job or be lazy AF, like it's two different, like they are like opposites, so for example, to that, like, okay, do your job and do what you have to do, and no, like, regarding what do you want, like, like it's a job, not like uh, a playground or something. Or for example, the people of USA, they sometimes tend to be a little bit, like, not all of them, but that's like also the preset mindset that some of us have of them. Like some of them could be like aggressive or be like the so-called Karens, and that could lead to some problems in the company. So also, like, keep always respect for all of your partners. Like some of those ground rules. For example, like the if there was a Muslim or any of those that have that kind of religion, it's like, with all the respect or without respect, it's like one of the stupidest religions of them all. And like, if he or she, mostly he, because like the women of that religion normally are like not allowed to work. But what I mean is, if he is going to work, because it will like taking the mindset of they will normally be a guy. If it's that person is going to work in the enterprise, in the corps, he has to respect all, especially women. And if that woman does not do what his religion says, respect it, because that person is from another culture and another religion, and he can't impose his religion or his thoughts to the woman, to the person. Like, another ground rule should be like, respect what others have to say, what other people do, and do not try to stick your ideologies to them. Like, allow the interculturality to exist, and those kind of things, like, just do rules to lead to a better, like, workplace, because otherwise it will be like just a normal job, like you go, you work, do your work, and that's all. Like, it's mostly in an intercultural place, like how they relate to each other, the biggest problem, or like what you have to do extra things, or at least that's my opinion. What about you, Aldo?
This is a good question, and I think a leader in a cross-cultural company uh, must cultivate cultural awareness, practice effective communication, foster diversity and inclusion, develop conflict and resolution skills, um, and be willing to continually learn and grow. Uh, this is too difficult for the leader, but uh, the leader can build a positive and successful work environment where the strengths of diversity are leveraged and the growth and success of all team members is uh, promoted. And I think this.
All right. Well, we reached the end of the questions, but I think we need to discuss one more matter, and it is, how does the religion affect culture? I think this question is we need to discuss about it because the teacher said so. So I'm gonna be first. And how does religion affect our culture or our manners? Well, I do think that religion play a main role in making or shaping our culture. We can see in our own culture. We as Mexicans, we are like the most. We are very proud, or we make this assumption on if some people is religious, maybe they're good people, or maybe this this thing, these other examples shape us like I don't know, like form this like how do I say, like this feeling of a group, and then this feeling of a group evolves into a family matter. We and this family matter shape our culture in being like more sociable, very friendly people. Well, I do think this is an example in Mexican culture. And I would say like maybe it's another example is in the activity number 11 on number 12. We saw that most of the American religion is Catholic, so there's feeling of freedom, liberty, and they tend to be more individualistic group. Well, more individual. They they fight for this liberty, these personal goalships, but maybe in another in other culture where where this like discussing country, but we are more of a group kind of people. I don't know. Where you think, how does religion shape our culture?
Well, I think it shapes it a lot because, as you said, like for example, we are more like, in a few words, like we're cooler, and that can be related to to a religion, because it tends to make you like be good with others. And there, as for example, like in USA, yeah, there also be like, yeah, freedom and all of that, but they also tend to be like a little bit more problem people. And like for example, you can see all around the world how the religion affects how they see the world, how they act, how they relate to other people. In some religions more than others. Because for example, here in Mexico, as the generations pass, we are like losing that attachment to religion. Like we are going beyond that, and even though it does affect us still right now, we are like detaching from it. But for example, in other countries, again, like with the Muslims, you can see it clear as water that men have all the power, they can do whatever they want, and they have no consequences. And women have to wear all these black thingies, they can't be seen by other men, and all of those stupid things, because they are stupid, that they have in their culture. And that's like the clearest of the examples, because you can see like how just that religion, that one thing, can affect all their way of life. Like it can be good, it can help people relate with each other, it can help people be better persons, like just survive something sometimes. But it can other times lead to disasters, to social problems, to inequality, and that's like a lot of what we have discussed as well on this whole class. So I think it affects a lot, but it also depends on how much like people allow it to affect them as a society, and how much are they willing to change that religion or themselves in order to have a better society. That's what I think.
The religion often sets the moral and ethical values of a society. Religion principles can